Well, I'm so excited to be here and just be here with my peers and be able to talk about AI, something that I've been doing for years. Let's see if I can get my clicker to work. It's turned on. There we go. All right. So often whenever I say that we build AI agents and AI workflows and automation, I always enjoy and get a kick out of people that say, oh, I'm an AI super user. I use ChatGPT all day. That's fantastic. I hope that you use some type of AI support throughout your day. But when we leave here today, I want to have a vision for you all of what else is capable out there. Not just ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, but really what does it look like to have AI supporting you without having to prompt? So today is super special for me because, like David was saying, I've built a company before. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My husband and I own the company, and before this, we had a social media agency and software company. We sold that company in 2018. And I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for a guest in our audience who serendipitously was here. We had our company in San Diego, nothing with Nashville at the time, and that person is here able to support me by being a guest of one of our EO Nashville members. And that's what I think EO is all about, right? Bringing our community together and having the support of people around you, whether you know it or not. So super excited because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't know my business partner. I wouldn't know my husband if it wasn't for him. So we started this company in 2019 out of our exit, and we have been helping businesses systemize and automate their workflows throughout. And then when AI started to become more popular, we worked that in. So we've been working with AI before it became as mainstream as it is today. This is a picture of me. And I hope that somebody in here can resonate with this. From chronic stress, this is what I look like. Chronic stress is something that didn't just happen overnight. It's chronic. We don't just have work lives. We have personal lives. Everything is stressful. Everything builds up. This is what stress built up in me for too long looks like. And I see AI and automation working together to help alleviate stress in our lives, help take some things off of our plates. So I've been in remission now for 5 years and haven't had another episode since. And so how can we continue to support, whether it's for me or for anybody else in here that can identify with being stressed, with having too many things to do in a day, or maybe it's not you, but maybe somebody on your team, because it's not just about us. Everybody in here probably has some member on their team that has a lot to deal with, whether that's in their lives at work or when they go home. So let's support them, and let's start automating some of those tedious things. So we're all here because we're realizing business has changed. Imagine every time you wanted to do a Zoom or Teams that this is how you got connected. That doesn't happen, right? That's just out of even something that we can conceive at this point. But we're doing this concept to ourselves right now by not adapting to how the world is changing and how AI can be involved with our day-to-day work. So I read this book, Essentialism. Many of you might have read it. And one thing that really stuck out with me in that book was what if. As kids, we play and we're constantly asking what if. And we're reminded by that whenever we have kids and they're constantly telling us, what if I had wings and fly across the world? What if dinosaurs were real and I could have one in my backyard? Yeah, what if? But we stop doing that as adults. We stop playing that game with ourselves, even in a professional setting. We don't ask as many what if questions. So today, I have about 40 minutes to go through scenarios and use cases of AI. I can't hit them all. I can't hit every single example for your specific business and your industry. So put on your what if hats, please, and say, well, you know what? I saw that. What if it could do this? And start asking that question. So we're going to go through levels of AI. We're going to go on a journey together. The AI journey is first, many of you probably already familiar with, is chatting with AI, going to ChatGPT. We're going to talk through some use cases with that. We sent out a survey earlier this year, and some of the feedback on how to use AI was, hey, we need more use cases, we need more free tools. So I've got some jam-packed things on that through here, and we're going to go all the way to level 3 and talk about agents. So first is AI prompting. Let's just talk about what it looks like to have a good prompt. There's a basic formula to this: to be specific, to give it some context, and to set some expectations. Now, if you're going to AI and you're like, you might have had this experience where, like, man, that was way off. That's not what I was looking for at all. Let me try this again. And you give it a little bit more context. Then it gets a little bit closer. And you're like, you know what, that was way too long. I only needed 3 sentences and it gave me 4 pages. Let me get back to it. So the more that we improve our prompt from the beginning, the closer it's going to get to our output. So things like, instead of write an email, tell it to write a professional email to a customer explaining that their service appointment needs to be rescheduled from Tuesday to Thursday due to a parts delay. You know what my favorite kind of is whenever you get an email from somebody and you just want to be like, oh, I'm so mad at you. You are so wrong. So I write my email, and then I ask AI, can you make this tone better? Not sound like such an asshole. And it does. It makes me sound so much more calm and collected, and then I can take that and go. And I can be a bit casual in my writing. Casual isn't always the best tone for something. I might need to step it up a notch. So asking it to be more professional helps. So here's a 4-part formula when we're talking about better prompting. So you want to give it context. You want to give it a role. Tell it that it is a publicist and a PR expert. Tell it that you have a specific job for it, that it's an HR consultant and you want it to do this. That way it knows. Otherwise, it's like talking to an intern and deleting words that that they would need to understand the job. So be specific. Clearly state your task. Create a checklist. What do you want from it? What do you want from them to produce in that output? If you have a certain length in mind, give it some context on how long you want it. Do you want it to be short? Do you want it to be long? Would you like to have bullets? Would you like it to be formatted? How are you going to use this? One of my favorites is, I'm going to use this as a blog article. I'm going to use this as a PDF document. Then it knows what the end result's going to look like and can produce a better result. So I've got here some common AI engines that you've probably seen. So I'm going to give you some context of what we had to do. So Gemini is Google, and we took a Google Spreadsheets template. So we're in Google Workspace, we go to Google Spreadsheets, and we use a Google Spreadsheet template. And we use Gemini, and the prompt, create a chart of the R&D cost over time. Gemini could not do it. We did the same prompt in Claude with the same spreadsheet, the same GPT and ChatGPT 5. And you can see the results are different. And really what you're looking for is every engine is going to, and every model is going to produce a different result. So experiment. Find which one for your use case is giving you the best result. That may mean you go between different ones. Some people really like the way that Claude outputs tone and information. Great, go there. I love the deep research feature of Claude. You can give it context.
Who owns Claude?
Anthropic. So for Claude, Anthropic owns it. For ChatGPT, OpenAI owns it. ChatGPT 5 is the newest model that just came out. They made a big production of it. It was a little underwhelming, but it's getting there. You can use it in all different types of ways. You can have it create images, just like these graphics here that it produced. And I've got a little bit more on here. So Claude went above and beyond. It created 3 different visuals based on that information. I actually prefer the graph of ChatGPT, but that's just a personal preference. But you can see how it takes data, how it visualizes data. And then there's one other one that's a different use case that I wanted to bring up because I love it for this use case. Perplexity. It is really good at pulling live web searches. So I see a lot of people wanting to use AI like a search engine, pull up-to-date information. So Perplexity, you can have it pull top competitors in an area. You can have it pull events happening in an area. We have a lot of tourism companies that love the live event because then when you do an AI prompt, it'll always pull up what's coming up and be able to market that. And it always provides the sources and URLs that are along with it. So let's talk through some use cases. So have you ever been asked, you're on a sales call or your team's on a sales call, yeah, this all sounds great. Have you ever worked with a similar client? You're going, yeah, we've worked with like 40. Or do you have any references? Well, you might have some, but what comes down to it is you probably have had many clients maybe with that instance or something similar, but maybe you don't have their information handy. And I don't mean contact information, I mean testimonials and feedback of the project. So many of us are using call recorders now, like Rain or Fireflies or something that is recording your call. Now you have a transcript of every client call that you have that can be used. So this is one of my favorites. So I was on a call with a potential client, and they were asking, okay, well, have you worked with any agencies that have used Asana that you've done AI agent workflows and blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, yes, I have. I will send you something immediately after this. And so Jim Launch, if you all know Alex Hermosi, Jim Launch is one of our clients, and when we finished the project, Stephanie on their team was just raving with excitement of the project that we built out. So needing a testimonial, I went back to the transcript, pasted the transcript into AI, and asked it, will you pull out any positive testimonials and feedback? Do not edit their words, use their real words, because it's going to sometimes try to make their words sound better, clean it up a little bit, but really on that first one, you want their real words. You want to pull what they said. And then you can create a testimonial on that, and it's very important to send to the client for approval before you send that to anybody. But this can be a machine for you, and we can talk about that in a little bit with AI agents, is now you can take all of those, create case studies, create other use cases from positive feedback that you're getting. One of the other ones that my team has started doing is if you have referral partners. So this is Kim. She heard me on a podcast. I had never met her. She heard me being interviewed on a podcast. She reached out. She said, Alane, I'm head of an organization that works with PR companies. I think you could help a lot. Now, she has only heard me on that, so that's the only credible piece outside of any other information online. So she doesn't know what it's like to work with me. She doesn't know what it's like for clients to work with me. So she's been referring clients, and what I've done is using the same method of taking the transcript, is taking the positive feedback and sending it to her to reassure her the clients that she is referring to us it's working well, the clients are enjoying the work, so that she feels confident on continuing to refer clients to us. So the last one I'm going to touch on for this part is in the hiring process. I guarantee you, somebody on your team, if not you, is using it to write a job description. Great. But are you also using it to write interview questions? Are you having it write skills assessments for that position? I think this is going to be so very important, these two pieces. Because while you're using AI to write the job description, What are the candidates doing? They are using AI to make their resume and cover letters sound so glamorous, right? You're going, man, they are awesome. They know exactly what I'm looking for. This is the person. Well, we don't know really, because they're using your job description and their resume and asking AI, hey, can you merge these two babies together? Make me look like a rock star, and AI does. So where we need to get better skilled at are these. But giving our team the access to know to do this. If not, we're going to continue going down a path of hiring the wrong people and realizing too late that they weren't the right person for the job. So I've got a free tool that I'm going to share in a minute on even assisting on this piece here. So some of the limitations with AI is every person is going to write differently. You all are in this room together, and now you've got some awesome ideas on how to write a prompt better, and you're probably going to take that screenshot and share it with your team, which I hope you do. But that doesn't mean that they're going to do it. So you're relying on other people at your company to execute like you would or better. And we know that that doesn't always happen. They're not being trained, they aren't sure. So that's going to be a limitation. The outputs are going to be inconsistent. What model are they using? What engine are they using? Just like we showed with Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT, it's going to produce different results. You may not know which ones they're using for the output. And then you're relying on people that you're assuming that they know what they're doing. That they're maybe the hiring manager for a candidate, and that you're assuming that they're going and having the right interview questions, maybe. So we want to start eliminating some of these limitations. And that's where automation can play in, and AI agents. So for all of you, and if anybody doesn't want to sit here and scan the whole time, I'm going to give you a link at the end. But this is going to send you to 30 AI prompt ideas. I'm giving you the direct link so you don't have to go in through the lead form. So if you want to scan it now, you can, but always happy to share at the end too. So we've broken this up by department, and even have for your development team, because that's how you develop software is different now. They might need some training on where they can use AI. They might like to be old school, just like an artist. You know, oh, I want to create art from scratch. A developer can have the same mindset. So there's even sections broken up by department on prompts for each one. And even some ideas for personal use, too. All right, so I'm going to skip over automation with AI steps because as AI agents have evolved and become more powerful, we're starting to see this piece. Where's my, can't see, oh, there we go, okay. This piece is less relevant as we do more agents. So we're going to skip over that, and we're going to go to level 3 with agents and start talking about automation. So what is an agent? I'm going to give lots of examples, so we're going to carry through with this, okay? So an agent, think about it as like an intern on your team. They can get work done, they need some context, and they're kind of waiting around until something happens. They're like, oh, I can do that. Let me do it for you. But they work 24 hours a day. They don't go to sleep, and they do it consistently the same way every time. So the difference between, and I'm using ChatGPT here, fill in whatever chat one you want, okay? The difference between is when you go to ChatGPT, you go and you manually write a prompt, ChatGPT gives you an answer, and then it's up to you to do something with that, right? It's not going anywhere else. It's helpful. It is an assistant. It helped do something faster and better and maybe smarter, I don't know. But it's up to you to do the work after that. An AI agent is sitting there watching for something to happen. Support email triage. Can be watching an email inbox. And it goes, oh, this happened. I know what to do. I'm going to take it. And then I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to finish the output, which in that scenario might be a draft email. So it's already got the AI prompts built into it. It has a tool and resources, and AI as a brain. So we're going to build on this concept. So mention the hiring toolkit. So we're going to take some of these ideas and see how they can be evolved into an automated workflow. So a member on your team, they want to hire somebody, they've received approval, great. Let's get them into the hiring process now. You can scan this now. You can also get access to it at the end. So this is a tool that we built. It is a free tool. You can use this anytime. You can send it to anybody on your team. It's available for you all to use. And it's going to build a job toolkit. It's going to create the job description. It's going to create the interview questions. And it's going to create the skills assessment. So we created, see, one more person scanning. Okay, I'll give y'all just a second. Okay. All right. So we built this, we needed to have a trigger. The trigger in this case is a form, because what we want to train the person on our team is that context, right? We talked about context in the beginning. How often do we go to write a job description and we say, hey, I'm hiring a salesperson, can you write me a job description? And it's so generic. So we want to get some of these details out of the person so we can get a really, really good job description, but it's super quick and it's consistent. So let me see, let me go to my computer and I'm not gonna go through this whole thing just for time's sake. But it asks a few questions. It's not long. You saw on the previous screen, it takes 1.5 minutes to go through. So what's the job? Be specific. What are you hiring for? I'll put in here just a couple of things. Account coordinator. Great. What would you like them to do? This is not something that they need to spend a long time on. Give us some bullets. Go through. So it goes through and gets, is this person remote? Are they hybrid? Are they in office? Ask about benefits, those kind of things. And what it produces in the end you get an email. It takes less than a minute. Fill out the form. It shoots that person an email, whoever filled it out. And that attachment in the email is going to have your job hiring toolkit. It's going to have the full job description. It's going to have the interview questions. These interview questions are broken down by experience and skills, client interactions and communication, problem solving, so that you can dig in to if this person can really do the job. And the person doing the interview has a guide. Because remember, we're trying to dig in if that candidate really knows how to do the work. And it's specific to that role and the company and your company, because you're going to give it a little bit of information about what your company does too in that form. And then here for the skills assessment, it's going to create different scenarios that you can choose on sending that candidate, can you really do the job? Send me an example of your work. And it breaks it down, and these are so helpful. And you can, of course, edit it and make it a little bit different, but it gives you a starting place. And sometimes that's all we need. We need some ideas and a starting place. All right. For those of you that create proposals and RFPs, I have never met anybody that loves doing these. If you do, go to the bathroom real quick and come back. You don't need this section. A proposal, minimum 2 hours. I was talking to a client on Wednesday that they spend 40 to 80 hours on a proposal, an RFP proposal. So big deal, right? But some of that could be automated. If we cut down 50%, that'd be substantial. For any person on our team that's spending even 2 hours, that gets pushed down and pushed down and pushed down in our to-do list because we don't like having to create proposals most of the time. So how can we automate that? So an agent can be waiting for the trigger. So this is CRM company here. These are some meeting notes from our calls. And then this right here, I should put a little tag. This is the proposal stage. So right here, it's in call stage. Here, proposal. So the AI agent is waiting for a trigger to happen. And that trigger is, hey, when a deal in our CRM gets moved to proposal stage, generate a proposal. Now I don't have all the examples of the pages of the proposal in here, but it's going to pull the person and company from the CRM. You don't even have to fill that in. Prepared by whoever moved that deal in your CRM to proposal stage, it is going to pull that person and obviously your company. Then, see these little, anywhere you see a yellow box, this is a dynamic field. For our company, we have 8 different proposals, depending on proposal templates, depending on what type of work we're doing. Some of them might be a speaking engagement for me. I have that templated out. So it's going to take from these notes here of what we talked about, what the pain points of the client is. Our AI agent knows the problems that we solve, knows the services we offer, and it will select the correct proposal template based on what we discussed. This is a very popular automation that we build. So all of the dynamic fields are these little yellow ones. And so we've told the AI, when you see these fields, do this, and pull it from the transcript, but base it on what we do.
What AI platforms do your agents run on?
So it depends. So if we're building AI agents, we build an N8N. And the number, so I have a slide on it in a little bit that I'll show y'all, but it depends. So because Perplexity for our global mobility clients, for our tourism clients, we would want to use Perplexity for some of it. And it could be different parts of the proposal or for the document that we're creating that we are pulling different AIs for. So we tell it which one to use in the build. All right, well, we're going to go on another journey together. SOPs and knowledge bases, oh my gosh, another pain. But they are helpful because then our team knows what to do and they don't have to ask us questions or they don't have to ask each other questions. When I started the company in 2019, right before COVID hit, that's when I really saw people realize the pain that they didn't realize was happening in their organizations because they realized everybody was on Slack huddles, Teams, or Zoom all day. And they go, whoa, we did not realize how much chatter was happening when we were in office, how much help they needed until they could see the dependency that they needed on people. Every time we get interrupted in our day, it takes us 20 minutes to get back into what we were doing. If we even go back, how many tabs do you have open? 20 minutes just to get back in. Didn't count the time that we got distracted from what we were doing. Multiply that by every team member on your team. Even if they get interrupted one time in their day, that makes an impact. If you just eliminated the questions that your team member has, it saves a month of time per employee per year. So creating an SOP knowledge base. This idea and what we're seeing now with being able to build databases of knowledge is incredible. It's what I think, whenever ChatGPT came out and we were all in there and we were talking about LLMs and we were like, oh man, this is going to automate my whole business. I'm not gonna have to do anything. We all had this idea of it automating everything, and then we're like, whoa, there are limitations to what can happen here. I'm gonna just use it as my assistant that I go to and ask questions. But we're starting to see this evolve now. So if we look at level 1 where we're chatting, this is such an easy process to follow, even if you don't want to put in an AI agent and build a database. Loom or whatever video recorder that you enjoy using. Record a video of walking through a process, or your team, it doesn't have to be you. And then I take that transcript, I paste it into AI, and I tell it this is a video transcript, walking through a process. Can you write a step-by-step guide someone can follow, and then paste the transcript? Now it knows, we gave it context because it knows it needs to write a step-by-step guide, and that it's going to be a process someone else is going to follow. Now, there's one thing that I like to do that I didn't put in this slide, but this is a nugget for you, is that I have it do this, and then I ask it, is there any steps I forgot? Because we do things on autopilot sometimes. Things that are second nature to us because we've been doing it for 10 years is not second nature to somebody else. So it can tell you, hey, I recommend you do these 3 things. Add this to it. Brilliant. Done. And then it'll ask, would you like me to add those? And I say, yes, I would. So here's my step-by-step process. Okay, so if we think about where we're at right now, this is somebody manually going to AI and chatting and pulling it and then having to go put it in the SOP wherever you say it. You might be using Trainual, you might be using Google Docs, you might be using SharePoint. Wherever it is, it takes somebody to go and take that knowledge that you just got an output from and go put it where the team can access it. This is an important piece. Otherwise, it's just going to live in ChatGPT. We need it to be searchable, findable, usable. So what does this look like if we can automate it? And this is how. All right, so we've got our input here because we did record the video. You do have to do something. Right now, it doesn't read our minds yet. So we're going to take that transcript, and it's going to, let's just say that it's in a chat interface, okay? Not ChatGPT, an interface where it's just for this scenario, right? It's just for your team to use, only that case, all right? You're going to take that and you're going to paste it in. Well, when you paste it in, you don't have to tell it what to do because the AI agent already knows what to do. It already knows, hey, analyze this transcript. Identify the key procedures, structure into steps, add formatting and standards. This can be whatever we want it to be for that SOP. It's to standardize within your company. So it's going to do this every single time. And then it's going to create the SOP document. All right, it's going to standardize, gather materials, apply the standards, quality check, make sure it all looks good. And then it's going to put it into your storage, your knowledge base. So, and it can put it in the right place. So, if you have a operations manual or you have something for client success, managing clients, it can say, hey, this looks like this type of SOP. I'm going to put it in this folder. I'm going to put it in this section. Now, one thing if you're using a software for your knowledge base, one thing is that it has to be a usable API for it to go into it. So just thinking about how these things, I don't know what systems that you're using, so we would just need to look and see, does it have that capability? What API access does it have? So then we're going to talk about a RAG system. Because what is capable for your business now with these RAG systems and having AI access them, it blows my mind seeing what we're able to do. And talk about efficiency, less stress, and just getting through the workday. How many of ourselves, of our team members, would like to leave work at the end of the day? Sometimes it's not about doing more. It's just being done, feeling like you're at a good place. So we're going to talk about this RAG system. Oops. Okay, doesn't like this slide. Let me do it manually. So we're going to take that SOP and we're going to put it in an AI-friendly database. And it's this super sexy name called a retrieval augmented generation. Okay, who knows what that means? All right, So now we're going to have that. I'm going to skip this part right here, okay? We are creating a database of knowledge, of company knowledge. So let's say you are a restaurant. We've got all different types of training materials and guides and manuals, agreements, different things that could be saved in a RAG database. The AI agent has access to all of this. This piece here is just your interface to access it. So if an employee needs to ask a question, it can be here. What's our food safety protocol? People don't like to read. You give them a manual and you say, okay, go find it. They're going to ask a friend. That friend may not know the answer. It may be searchable in that document, but they've got to go to different documents every time they need to answer a question. This interface gets access to all of your company knowledge in a database. So one of our clients has, I'm going to go back to a support team because support teams have tickets. They're answering questions. That's what they do. They're there for support. We put in one of these RAG systems. Before that, the support team would get a question. It might be too technical. Then they've got to go to the technical team, interrupt them, get an answer, go back to the client. Well, now, when a client asks a question, it's going to look at this database and pull the answer. They've gone from a team of 4 to a part-time person. That's substantial. How do you think the client feels? They got their answer in maybe half an hour versus the backlog. So it is about being more human and having time to service our customers rather than digging for information, hunting for information. Let me scroll down just a little bit because the scroller doesn't want to work on this. So the AI agent will retrieve the info. The AI model is a brain. It's going to combine all of this information, make sure that it has the knowledge to generate a response, and then output it. This output could be in a chat interface. It could be in Monday.com. It could be in HubSpot. It could be wherever we tell it to be, as long as it has an API available that it can send information. The output can go there. It can be in an email draft. All right. SOPs need updating, but the systems that are there are smart. When a document, I'm using Google Drive here just to make it easy, but here we've got Google Drive that's storing the files and documents. Whenever you update that, whether you add a new one to the database, whether you update an existing one, whether you delete it, the RAG database is functioning from the latest information it has. And it takes about 4 hours for data to sync, so there is a little bit of a lag time, but 4 hours versus training people. If I could train people in 4 hours, man, that'd be great. So there are so many use cases for AI agents. This is, again, you can scan it right now. This goes directly to the Dropbox link, or I can send it to you after this. We built out an org chart of AI agents because they are like people on your team. So it's broken up by department, just like your org chart, and there are 40 ideas. These are ones that we continuously see as hot items that customers and clients want to talk about, their pain points, and of course we can build custom ones because your business is unique. How you handle work is unique. People ask me, well, what are the most common ones? Well, I'll tell you, people fall into 2 buckets. Are you trying to be more efficient and save in operations, or are you trying to get more sales? Trying to get more sales, proposal generation is a good one, but also outreach and lead generation. There are AI agents that can take a lead list and know your ICP, your ideal customer profile, and it will say, these are the ones to hit first. These match 9 out of 10 of your ideal customer profiles. That way you're not wasting time on 100 people that weren't useful to reach out to. It'll tell you these are the 10 to reach out to. So it depends. So that's on the sales side. On the internal operations side, email triage is a big one. Answering questions, right? We're answering questions all day. So this is where I told you we'd get a slide to it. N8N. That is where we build most of our AI agents. It's a tool for building these. Now, I'm not going into N8N and building these. It still takes a technical person. There is sometimes where we also incorporate code in with the AI agents. So we have a development team that is a part of it. But there are templates. There are things to get started. Lindy.ai, this one is user-friendly. So if you want to get in and just play, they have templates, and it's with prompting. So you can go in and say, this is what I'm trying to build, this is the software that I use, and it'll give you a starting place. It is harder to go in and edit them after. So, you still have to be a technical person, but this can be a good place to start, especially if you already feel like you're pretty technical. You can custom code them. I am not always a big fan of custom coding, but if you have a specific use case, maybe that works for you. But the more custom things you build, the more technical debt you have, and the more upkeep you have to do. Zapier and Make, very, very common automation tools. I will say that they are fantastic for automation. Their AI agents aren't great yet. But if you already are using those platforms and you want something to dabble in, dabble away. And then this one down here I have because software platforms are starting to launch their own AI agents. So you might see even a little thing like in beta AI agents or try our new AI agents. Try them. There's going to be limitations. It's not going to be able to do everything. Copilot has a little AI agent thing. Where it's going to fall short is it doesn't have access to integrate everything. So it might give you an idea, but it's not able to build what you need necessarily. But keep watching those. Go ahead and play with them. See what happens. All right, there are some limitations. We are still not to where they're going to automate your entire company, unfortunately. There are context limits. And you probably have seen this even in chatting, where the output. So I was putting together a fake HR policy for a demo. There's a link here, you'll be able to see it. And I was trying to have it write an 80-page handbook for me. I needed a fake one, I just needed some content in there, and it did like 10 sections. Couldn't do all 80 pages I wanted, because the context was too big. So I had to then just break it up. I gave it an outline and said, okay, do these 4 sections. Great. After that, do these sections. Context can be blown out. And that's typically when you're like, man, this is just not happening. It's not there. It can hallucinate. And by building agents, we're trying to limit that. They really need to be focused on what they do. One agent can do one thing really well. Now, we can build a team of agents, just like you build a team of people, and they can do a bunch of things. But they're focused. That one agent needs to be focused on one thing. If you tell it too many things, it cannot function. It is not going to give you a good output. So be careful if you're going in and doing these yourselves. Just be conscious of what you're doing where you're not telling it to do too many things. And it still is there to assist humans. Agents are there to support us. For those of us that enjoy being visionaries in our companies and not getting into the weeds, this is a big deal. For Culture Index, so several years ago in by Forum, we had Culture Index come, and I like to be high-level, visionary, strategic, but you know how on the bottom, if any of you have done it, and it shows you where you are in your day-to-day, I was plummeting because I was doing too many tedious things. I was doing too many things that I don't enjoy doing. But with this, I can be where I like to be, up here. The weeds can happen with an AI agent. All right, deciding what to automate. So you need to prioritize, because you're going to leave here and you're going to be so jazzed, and oh my gosh, we can just automate this, this, and this, and this. But you do have to make some priorities. Is it time-consuming? Do mistakes frequently occur? Because when mistakes occur, fires have to be put out, and then we're putting resources at that. So this might be a big one for you. Does it reoccur? If it only happens once, I can't imagine that it would be a great time to go and build something for just one instance that you're never going to go back to do. So does it reoccur, and how often does it reoccur? Producing reports for a client every month, that recurs. That can be automated. Is the task being done inconsistently? So I have my way of doing things, Micah has his way of doing things, Bo has his way of doing things, but I want a company way of doing things. That's where consistency can be built in with an AI agent. And then is it moving data between systems? I used to think of data as just numbers. Data is essentially any information going from one platform to another one. Now, you want to be really careful with personal identifiable information. You don't want to be transmitting that. But other information, just like with the job toolkit, we're taking data from here and we are producing it here. And is the work burning people out? I don't want to be burnt out. I don't want my team to be doing tasks that burns them out. And I don't want to have to keep rehiring for positions that I know burn people out. All right. Perfect timing. So if anybody wants to chat about AI more, that goes directly to my LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions. Oh, actually, sorry. I'm going to go back to that. This is a page on our website that has all of our free tools. And if you can't get it to scan, then feel free to shoot me an email or a message. Happy to send this over. There are chatbots in here that you can play around with. One of my favorites is when I mentioned just now an HR policy that I had AI write, and we put a chatbot on it. It will answer questions. My grandma died, how many days do I have off of work? You chat it in there, it spits out, you get 3 days of bereavement. Then one day I was doing this, and somebody asked, well, what if you ask it in Spanish? So we did it. It answers you in Spanish. Love AI. So y'all can go in and play with any tools on there, all the free assets. There's more than just on here. It's just what I could fit. Okay, so this is the last thing. While y'all are scanning my QR code, we are now going to have a panel with brilliant other EO members that are going to join me and just give us a couple of minutes to transition and get everybody up here.